Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told I had a voice radio, so today I am showing you another Oricorio card. We showed you the Fire Oricorio Baile Style in the previous video. Today we are going Sensu-Style. He is a psychic Pokemon, or she. They have got a 75% female ratio. Now, I did say in the previous video there are 4 of them. They look like this. Here we're going Sensu-Style, and I like this card. I'm throwing that right out at the beginning here. Now, 90 HP is very low, but I suppose it means you can use a bit of the old level ball. The fact that you are a psychic type means you won't be hitting much for weakness, to be perfectly honest, but things like Mew from Fates Collide and Mew EX, if anybody's running them, you will be hitting those bad boys for weakness. Having a retreat cost of 1 is quite good, I suppose. Attacks of 1, retreat of 1, nice bit of synergy. Resistance to fighting is always good because of cards like Zygarde EX, but whenever you're looking at a Pokemon with 90 HP, the resistance is always going to be a little bit of an occasional bonus rather than an integral part of the card, shall we say. Now, it is weak to Dark, which is a problem, because even with 90 HP, Fright Knight Yveltal will easily get the KO here, and even the Oblivion Wing Yveltal is going to be doing 60 if it doesn't add any damage whatsoever. It's not going to last long against these Yveltal cards. Now, the second attack here can be pretty gosh darn good. Revelation Dance, 30 damage. You can only use it if there's a stadium in play. Well, I'm going to be perfectly honest, ladies and gentlemen. How often are we playing games nowadays where there isn't a stadium in play? Although I suppose if you're, sitting there early turns, maybe no one's put a stadium down, but I would very much doubt it, to be honest. Now, talking of stadiums, in Expanded, you've got Dimension Valley here, which means you can actually play Dimension Valley, and in Expanded, both of these attacks cost 0 energy, which is quite nice. Now, 30 damage isn't great, but you will be getting one-hit KOs on things like Joltik, which sees a bit of play, Magikarp, which sees a little bit of play, even things like Mew from Fates Collide because of weakness. And let's not forget here that we've got options to put this damage up. Professor Kukui does 20 more damage if you play it as your supporter for the turn. Link to that in the description. And as it's a basic, you can use Fighting Fury Belt here so that you can actually be doing 60 damage for a single energy, which will get KOs on evolving basics like, for instance, Litten, or maybe even something like a Rowlet. Not a great attack by any stretch of the imagination, but it has its uses. But the main event here is Ominous Dance. For each Pokemon in your opponent's discard pile, place a damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon in any way that you like. Now, because this is placing damage counters, it goes through bench protectors like Mr. Mime. But what I really love here is you get to place them in any way that you like. So if your opponent's got a 60 HP Pokemon on the bench but 9 Pokemon in the discard, you can place 6 damage counters on that 60 HP Pokemon to get the KO, and then put the 6 damage counters somewhere else. This can be pretty gosh darn good, but there are 2 decks against which it seems to have immense potential. Now, first of all, let's go there. Night March. Now, Night March is only in Expanded at the moment, but they really want to have 9, 10 Pokemon in the discard, and they're using 30 and 60 HP attackers. So if they've got 9 Night Marches in the discard, you can bring out an Oricorio, and for a single energy, oh no, wait, because they're going to be playing Dimension Valley, so for 0 energy, you can either KO 3 Joltiks or 1 Joltik and 1 Pumpkaboo. This, in Expanded, can literally single-handedly destroy Night March here. You can be taking 2 free prizes in one go and wrecking their setup at the same time. But in the standard format, I'm thinking Vespiquen. Now, those of you that have been watching this channel for a while will know I'm a huge fan of Vespiquen. You'll also know that you generally want 15 to 20 Pokemon in the discard pile, while you're rocking with 90 HP Vespiquen, 100 HP Zeb Strikers, and so on. So you're going to be getting 2 or 3 KOs minimum here in the mid to late game. So that is, shall we say, a little bit of a problem. Now, here's the thing about Oricorio. We can sit here right now and say it's an amazing Night March counter and it's an amazing Vespiquen counter. But that does not tell the whole story. There may well be decks in future that rely on playing 20 or 30 Pokemon. Maybe stuff like Incineroar that's going to need to fill up the bench and therefore play a whole bunch of Pokemon. As a side note here, if you're playing against anyone playing Skyfield, think also decks like Rayquaza or Raichu. You can here play Parallel City, limit your opponent's bench to 3, and then they are putting a whole bunch of Pokemon in their discard pile, which hurts them, and they fuel Oricorio's attack at the same time. But let's say you're not playing Vespiquen, you're not playing Night March, no other decks come out that rely on a whole bunch of Pokemon. This is still a very efficient attack. Even the most minimal decks will play 9 Pokemon, and maybe up to, 15 Pokemon. So, even against an average deck, you could well be hitting for 60 to 100 damage here for a single energy on a basic while you set up stuff that you like on your bench. And this acts as a nice deterrent card. Your opponent is going to see the Oricorio and think, oh gosh darn it, I really want to discard these Pokemon, but I don't want to fuel Oricorio's attack. Maybe I'll keep them in my hand. We're all playing cards like Ultra Ball and Sycamore at the moment. We all end up discarding Pokemon because they're no use in this matchup, or I've got enough attackers for the time being. Oricorio will feast. So, amazing Night March counter, amazing Vespiquen counter. It really combos nicely with Parallel City or any deck that relies on having Skyfield out. Oh yeah, and even against decks that don't fit that description, you're still hitting efficiently for a single energy. I'm giving Oricorio 4 Wassies here. I really like this card. Now, do bear in mind that the second attack places damage counters, doesn't hit damage, so it won't hit for weakness. But if Psychic decks ever become good, you know what? Kukui and Fighting Fury bout, and you're now hitting 120 on a basic for a single energy. I can deal with that, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds okay to me. Now you know the deal. There is a comment section. Go nuts, be nice. Tell me how this compares to the other Oricorio. I would say favourably. There are buttons to both like this video and subscribe to this channel. I would very much appreciate it if you would use them both. You can follow me on Twitter @TheWassie, and the most important thing as always is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching PTCG Radio.